Heyo everybody, Haku here for this week's One Piece live reaction bingo. We've got One Piece chapter 1109. We're getting close to 1111, which again I've been saying maybe that's going to be a Zoro thing since the repeating ones have tended to be a Zoro thing. But either way, I'm excited to get into reading. Honestly, a little bit late this week, not by my doing, but the scans didn't even come out until, like, I'm recording this Friday afternoon, right after I made the Tower of God screen time video public, and this only dropped like 7 hours ago. So the scans are kind of a day later than usual this week. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I post this video for patrons and channel members when the scans come out, and then when the public full official release comes out, I make it public for everybody. So if you want it a little bit early, you can become a patron or channel member, but if not, don't worry about it. I just don't like posting it early because I don't want to spoil anybody who does wait for the official release. But I thought last week's was really fun when I did the double blackout bingo reaction. I thought that was really fun. I think it's two things really. So there was a lot of time there when I held One Piece to a higher standard as somebody who was a fan for years and years and years, and I was just so used to it being so good in the earlier days, especially post-time skip being, I always say I think pre-time skip, I always say that I think pre-time skip One Piece is nearly perfect. It's so good. And for One Piece to have fallen off so much, I felt like I just held it to too high a standard, so I do think that my thoughts now as compared to during Wano when we were really getting some shit tier content is it's twofold in that I think that Egghead has genuinely been better than Wano. There are still problems, there are still issues. One Piece in general in the post-time skip has still just kind of fallen off, but I think that Egghead has really just been better than Wano. And also, I think the other thing that's made me more happy when reading is just that I'm not holding One Piece to the same standard anymore. I'm not holding it to this high standard where I think it's this really near perfect story where everything's going to matter, where every plot point's going to be written well. I've just kind of given up on that, and am just kind of reading for what it is, being like, sometimes it's just not very good. And I think I'm much happier viewing One Piece through the lens of, sometimes it's just not going to be very good. So yeah, me being happier with One Piece, I think it's a combination of me not holding it to as high a standard and it just genuinely being better. I really think that for all the misgivings and mistakes, and I've been critical of Egghead, I think it's important to still be critical when things are not that great, but for as critical as I've been, I do just think it's better than Wano. But either way, let's get into reading. Since we're going back to a single, normal, regular bingo, I went back to making the bingo board a little bit tougher. Some of the spots are a little more rare. It'll be harder to get a bingo. And also, just like before, I added a bunch of things that can appear on the card. So when you go to generate your own card, it could not only not be in the same order as the one I got, but you could just have completely different spaces than the spaces I got. The options are all in the database, and you could just end up with totally different options than what I ended up with. So if you want to generate your own bingo card, if you want to play yourself, I'll leave a link to that down in the comments, and probably also the description. I should leave one. So yeah, I guess with all of that intro business out of the way, let's just start reading Chapter 1109. Actually, before we read, we gotta see what's on my card. I haven't even looked at my card yet. So I got named character death. I got Nika mentioned. That one's possible. Nika is more possible than named character death. I got Yonko, named attack, Vegapunk, Pacifista, any Straw member, new name Devil Fruit, Seraphim. We have not seen the Seraphim very much. Food, Vice Admiral, new cover story, free space which we can click, bounty reveal, Admiral, Vivi Wappler Morgans, flashback, blood sweater tears, which is a new one I added. After the double reaction I did last time, I was like, I really want to keep that one around, so I threw that one into the mix. Any island other than Egghead, Law, or Kid. I threw some new spaces into the mix, and I took a couple out, I took Where's Caribou out now that we've seen him. We got Lar, Kid, Revolutionaries other than Kuma. Cross Guild's a tough one. Karadan towards Unisha. I got a pretty tough board, honestly. Gorosei and Zoan Transformation. Any 5 of these in one chapter, I like in order, I got a rough card. I don't see me getting a bingo this week. But either way, let's actually start reading. Let me make sure I've got everything right. Okay, we have chapter 1109, Termination. And we're seeing Onigashima. Don't do it! Don't send us back to Wano Peace. We have cover story number 26, A Submerged Onigashima. Finally, it's been on the board. It's been on the board for so long, and we finally have new cover story. Okay, I do have it. My heart almost just dropped. We finally have new cover story, and if I didn't have it, I was going to be so bummed. I guess this counts as any island other than Egghead as well. I really didn't think I'd get that one, but I think it should count. Alright, so A Submerged Onigashima. I'm just going to take it in, see if there's anything we're supposed to recognize. Not really. It is by this... Well, there is this big hole here towards... Who is this cover story going to be about? Is it going to be a fish man dealing with it since it's submerged? Or is this how we're going to get Kaido and Big Mom reintroduced? It makes me wonder, whose cover story is this going to be? Alright, then we have Stella, is this wise? A message to the world. Even if you set this broadcast to start suddenly, it may not work. What do you mean, Shaka? Okay, so this is just a last resort message to the world. We're counting too much on people being ready to receive and relay this. You know how it is with information. Agencies always spread the news all around the world by the next day. You think so, but what if someone intercepts or censors our message? Where's this broadcast coming from? You're right. Any suggestions? It's coming from every ship's transponder snail. We could piggyback off the Navy's comms traffic. Cut the connection. That's the thing, we can't. That would allow us to force a worldwide constant broadcast with our signal strength at maximum. I see. That'll make it possible for anyone with a transponder snail to receive our initial voice message. But they still need a while to prepare their visual transponder snails. The time to set that up will vary from place to place. Let's take an interval of 1 hour. What are you planning to say, Vegapunk? Okay. An hour, that's too long. Don't you realize what'll happen in that time? Where is it coming from? Why now? So, I wonder if this is going to be something where the Straw Hats are going to have to protect the broadcast for an hour or however long it's going to take. But we do see a lot here, so let me actually go through some of the board, because we have quite a few of these. We have a Yonko in Luffy. We don't have a named attack yet, but we do have Vegapunk. I didn't see food that I remember, but I might have to take another look. Any Straw member is there. I don't think we saw a Pacifista or a Vice Admiral quite yet, nor an Admiral. No Lar Kid. Blood, Sweat, or Tears, actually. I forgot to even look for that. We might... I don't see any yet. No Flash... Well, I don't think it should count as a flashback, the broadcast. Revolutionaries, Cross Guild, Carrots, Nisha. Gorosei, we got Zoan Transformation. We need somebody to die. Somebody better get the eulogy prepared. We need somebody to die. Okay, so I don't see food. We do have Sweat coming off the Marines. I'll add that in a second. Let's keep reading for now. We're seeing the Giants. There are people who won't be pleased when we start this broadcast. They may find a way to terminate it before we finish. Fair point. In that case, let's set the preparation interval to... Also, I think it'd be one thing if I mentioned, having more fun with One Piece at the beginning. I think another thing is doing it the bingo way. It gives me more to talk about, during the chapter. Because there are a lot of times where I feel like if I wasn't stopping to mess with the bingo board and talking about things we're seeing, that it'd be very easy for many chapters for me to just kind of go through them kind of quickly. So it gives me some time to sit and think on things that are happening. Okay, hold on. Do we need to get the flowers ready for Stella Vegapunk? 10 minutes. Vegapunk, that's your voice, right? Hey, people of the world. And we cut over to Saturn, and then cut over to the Holy Land of Meriwa. What is this transmission? Saturn, have you dealt with Vegapunk? What's the meaning of this? Kizaru delivered a killing blow. I saw it myself. He should be dead. Could he have set up a dead man switch so that this message would play upon the death of his main body? That seems likely. We have no way of knowing what he'll say. Okay, so he might actually be dead unless we're getting Will of Peed yet. We can't really know quite yet. It's hard to confirm it in One Piece. If we can just pinpoint the source of this broadcast, the only location that seems plausible is the labostratum on Egghead, but it's currently protected by that barrier of his. What should we do for the remaining 9.5 minutes? We could get inventing. There's so much to do. How about some coffee? Dressrosa in the New World. Dressrosa. Did you hear that? This is Dr. Vegapunk we're talking about. If he's trying to tell the entire world something, it must be a big deal. Get a visual transponder snail out here. Put up a screen. Hurry, we only have 10 minutes. The wise man Luffy Land kidnapped? What's happening? Don't tell me you guys trusted another bad article about Lucy. And we have, was his name Kabu with Leo and Rebecca? Rebecca! And I think that's Kairos to the left. I could also calculate the possibility, or the probability of interference happening. We've got the video ready. Is that Vegapunk? Fuchsia Village, East Blue. What's this all about? I thought it was just going to be more news bad-mouthing Luffy. A visual transponder snail? If only the village had one. How about it, Mayor? Who's going to pay for that? Raising it wouldn't be free, you know. Isn't having audio enough? We have a whoop slap. Water 7 in the Grand Line. Wake up. This can't be good. Yawn. Alice? Her name is pronounced Alice. Okay. So why didn't they just put Alice? Why didn't they just spell it that way? Prepare to screen the message. Yes, Mr. President. It's already playing in the next room. Screens for each dock are also being prepared. But, it's nighttime, but considering the importance of this event, a summons has been issued notifying all citizens to be at a screen within 10 minutes. Is there anything else? Iceberg Secretary Alice. Okay, so I wonder, is Alice somebody that we've seen before or somebody we should recognize? Also, Iceberg looking quite different. Sorry, I was just taking it all in. I should probably look at the bingo board. Hold on a second. Just glancing real quick. We might have a named character death. I'm going to hold off till the end of the chapter. If it seems like he's dead by the end of the chapter, I'm counting it. But from there... Oh, we probably saw food at some point, but I wasn't paying attention. Blood, sweat, or tears. Oh, yeah. Okay, none of this is a flashback. Okay, let's just continue for now. Again, I can re-click things if there's anything screwy. Was there really... I mean, I guess... Nah, there's not really food in the bar scene there. But either way, let's keep going. World Economic Journal. Okay, so we're getting Viviwapala Morgans. What's with this feed? It's being relayed through Navy frequencies, but it's unencrypted. Where are Luffy-san and the others? Don't be a ditz. Look at the clock in the background. That isn't the current time at Egghead. This must have been pre-recorded. Says, look at the waffle in the background. Says, Morgans. After all, the Buster Call's bound to have reduced the island to a sea of flames by now. West Blue. It's Dr. Vegapunk in the flesh. I heard his mind was a cut above the rest, but this isn't what I expected. Right? North Blue. The man who lit up the world. That almost kind of looks like Baltigo. But, not Baltigo, Baltimore. But I don't think it is. It doesn't look futuristic enough. Let me see South Blue. He's going through all this trouble. What does he want the world to know? It might be the invention of the century or something. Kamabaka Queendom. Okay, we're back at Kamabaka. We're seeing the revolutionaries. It'll take 10 minutes to brew the coffee. I won't get a sip in. I see. The probability of interference in this time frame is exceedingly low. What is Vegapunk up to now? More importantly, has he lost his head? Okay, we have Ivankov. So that's the Dr. Vegapunk everyone's always talking about, says Koala. He's quite the man to do this in the middle of a crisis. We have Morley. I think I'll be dead soon. And Dragon's remembering what Shaka said. Egghead. Looks like my punches don't damage you. And then we have Laser Eye Kizaru. Okay, and he blasts at Luffy's head, but looks like Luffy... I don't know if he gets hit because there's the erg sound effect. It looked to me like he was just dodging backwards to avoid it. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Even though we have the erg sound effect, it looks like he's dodging both of their attacks. I'm not letting you two run off. Not till I'm sure my friends have escaped. Gummo gummo no. Oh? And he claps his hands together. Symbol. Okay. And then releases them, and they're both flattened. And he starts spinning them on his fingertips. Since you keep getting better, no matter what. And again, this is much less fun and exciting. I know the whole point of the Gear 5 Nika stuff is supposed to be fun, but this is so much less fun and exciting than pre-bullshit Looney Tune Power One Piece. It's like, yeah, okay, he just takes an Admiral and Gorosei, and why care anymore? Why care when Luffy's just going to, like, gone past the Naruto anime Jesus allegations and is just anime god. And it's just like, yeah, he can just kind of do whatever. What does anything matter? I'll send you flying for good. And he tosses them. He threw something. And they crash through the ships. We have Luffy laughing. And then, ha! And Saturn is just UFOing back at him. What's it gonna take to keep you down? Kizaru-san, what in the world happened? Are you alright? Admiral! And then he's breathing, laying on the ground. There's no time, Saturn. We cannot allow Vegapunk to speak freely. That was close. And I guess this, like, almost thought bubble looking stuff is the other Gorosei speaking to him. I wonder if they can do it through some sort of telepathic link or something, because it feels like they're actually speaking to Saturn through this. There it is. This is our ship. I hope Vegapunk and the others are all right, and we have the Straw Hat group starting to reach the Viking ship, the giant ship. I shall perform the summoning. Oh, very well. Is he going to try to summon the others? What the? Black lightning. And we have these huge summoning circles forming on the ground. So 4 for the other Gorosei, I guess. What's going on? What the hell? It's just like when that spider geezer appeared. The planets are aligning. So either this continues to go the Straw Hat's way, and it's just simple, haha, very little stakes, or we actually have the Gorosei do something. They don't look like absolute chumps like Saturn. Like, at first, a bunch of my comments were like, Saturn looks awful as a villain. He's an absolute chump. He's just getting his ass handed to him very easily. And I was like, we haven't seen enough yet. He's probably killed Vegapunk. I was kind of like Saturn Defense Force. But then after this, it's just kind of like, I'm not a big power scaling guy. It's just there's so little stakes. There's so little tension when Luffy can just, haha, funny power win. And it just makes everything just seem way, 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 way too easy, too given, and it doesn't even feel like a power that Luffy really earned. Like, some of his other powers had these really insane drawbacks. He was putting his life on the line. He was having to outsmart his opponents and out-creative his opponents. And then with Gear 5th, it's just, or with the whole Nika bullshit no me reveal, it is just like, or like the Aspel no me rather. It's just like, who cares anymore? Like, it makes things way too easy, and it feels like a power that Luffy was just chosen one into rather than earned or deserved. And it, again, kind of just assassinates the entire character. And I feel like a lot of people disagree with this. A lot of people were like, peak fiction, when we were getting trough fiction during Wano when all of this was revealed. But it just, I don't know. It is probably the biggest, in my opinion, mistake or miswriting in One Piece to make Luffy, from this character who we've seen work and suffer through so much throughout the series, all of a sudden just be bullshit anime sun god. It kind of kills the character in a lot of ways. So, again, I should be excited to see the Gorosei, but after Saturn's showing, it just makes me think, well, are the Gorosei just going to get clowned on? Does anything matter? Could Oda just rush to the ending of One Piece here? Or will they actually win? Will the Gorosei actually shut down Luffy and his allies, which will make things seem very, very tense for the end game of the series? Like, what are they going to do in the end game? That feels like the way it should go. It should go that the Gorosei just shut everything down, they stop the broadcast, the truth doesn't get out to the world, Vegapunk dies almost in vain, and the Straw Hats, we set up this great tension for the end game of the series, like, how? How are the Straw Hats going to stop the world government? How are, even with all their allies, what can they do? That feels like the way it should go, but the sad part is, we have gotten so used to there being no stakes through Wano and through this, and for the good guys to just win with very little effort, that it's just like, I don't know, I don't see how Luffy and the Straw Hats lose, even with the other Gorosei showing up, which is the opposite of the way it should feel. It should feel like, oh my god, they have no chance of winning, but instead it feels like, what chance do they have of losing? Luffy can just eat something and full heal right back. Like, I don't know, it just, to me, I have no idea how this goes any decent way. But we have Vivi Popular Morgans, we have revolutionaries other than Kuma, anything else here? We do have an admiral. I don't think we really had food, but I will tentatively, since they said it was a dead man switch, and we had his body lying there seemingly lifelessly, we did have the Gomu Gomu symbol, whatever. I'm going to say named character death, and maybe be proven wrong when Will of P kicks in and Vegapunk's fine. So, we will see. We will see if he's actually dead in the future, or if he gets Will of P'd. But for right now, I'm going to give it a bingo because it looks like he's dead. Or maybe I shouldn't. No, I'm not. That's too easy. I'm not going to do it. No named character death until we know for sure. And we don't with One Piece. Which again, I have been having a lot more fun with One Piece. I thought it was really fun to read this chapter. Even if I was critical about One Piece, I can have fun reading while still being critical of how not good the story has gotten since Wano. But again, I want to reiterate, I don't hate One Piece. I'm not trying to hate on it here, but I do want to be critical again of this being another one of One Piece's massive, massive problems. You do it like once with Pell, and it's kind of fine, and then even maybe a second time. One Piece is a very long series if it's spaced far apart enough, but Oda shot himself in the foot creatively with too many fake-out deaths. Because now, the most heart-wrenching, emotional death could happen. We could have this heart-wrenching Usopp death or something, because everybody's like, oh, if a Straw Hat dies, it's Usopp. We could have that, and I could be like, no, Will of Usopp P. He is surviving. Like, no emotional death holds any weight anymore. Kinemon would have had a good death in the writing, but nope, Kinemon gets Will of P'd. He doesn't even have P in his name, he gets Will of P'd. Pound, I thought that Pound had a good story as a little side character, and then no, Will of P. His name started with P, it was Pound. I should have known better. But, like, again, that kills any weight for the future. Like, again, the Aspel no Mi kills a lot of One Piece's future potential, and all of the fake-out deaths kill so much of One Piece's future potential, because we just cannot have emotional scenes anymore. We can't. I will, like, that's something that I've got to say, is that for One Piece fans, we can't have emotional scenes anymore. It just cannot happen because they have been undercut by being faked out so much. Every time we think there's an emotional scene, anytime we think that, oh wow, this really tense, heartbreaking thing's going to happen, it's like, oh no, never mind. Don't worry about that. They're fine. And unless it happens in a flashback, there's nothing that Oda can write that I'm going to take seriously on my first time reading. It will only be later on, like if Vegapunk is actually dead, I can look back on it and be like, wow, that was sad. But my first time reading anything, I'm going to be like, yeah, they're probably fine. But yeah, I just wanted to, again, I think it's important, even when you like One Piece, or if it was any other series that I cover, I think it's important to talk about the things you like, and also to talk about when the things you like do something that's not great. And since Wano, One Piece has just done a whole hell of a lot that's not great. So I think it's good to enjoy it and to talk up the good things, like I talked up the flashback content we got. The Kuma flashback is great. Kuma and Bonnie's writing has been amazing. I really like the stuff with Vegapunk. I think that Egghead is better than Wano for sure. I think the stuff when we cut away and got the Kobe stuff at and Garp stuff at Hachinosu, that was really, really good. The flashback to the Reverie stuff with Sabo I thought was really good. So there's a lot that I've thought has been really good, and I think it's good to lift up these good things, but I think it's also good to call out the bad things. And yeah, I've just got to say that, you know, some of the things we've seen have been kind of crap. But either way, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment on there. Tell me what you thought of this chapter, my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more One Piece, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Just ask and I can give you a link. If you want to help support the channel, you can drop a super thanks down below. Or if you want these One Piece videos early and you want to help support the channel and get your name as a shout out at the end of every video. Sorry, my mind's all over the place. Trying to think, trying to rub a couple of neurons together. If you want to help support the channel, get One Piece early and get a shout out at the end of videos, hit join down below to become a member, or go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are patrons and members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono, Smeller Dog, and Abyss Knight, Cherryton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG, and Stan Eater, and Pure Element Pate Ardiablo. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching. Sorry if you hate the negativity, but I think it's important to be critical even of things you love. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.